Hi friends. So today we're gonna talk about narcissism. Narcissism is a hot topic today because I see a lot of videos in internet and a lot of people are teaching different things about narcissism. Narcissism, if in case people who don't know what is narcissism, narcissism is called narcissistic personality disorder (NPD), which is a annoying personality disorder. It's a type of personality that we say in psychology. It's called a toxic personality traits. And person who embody that is he or she is called a narcissist, because narcissist is always a bad person. A narcissist is a bad person. Narcissist always, you know what I mean, because narcissist always backstabs, narcissist always downplay your success, narcissist always create chaos, confusion, all these problems in your life. Narcissist is like a demon in your life. That is the description of narcissist. Of course, that is what narcissist is at the core level. At the base level, narcissist is like narcissist is that. Purpose of a narcissist's life is that create chaos and confusion and problems. It's narcissist is a bad person actually, but people who teach this thing about narcissism, about narcissist personality disorder, the symptoms and all these things that these narcissists do in internet. A lot of people are qualified people. A lot of people are not qualified people. They are just saying their ideas, what they've been through, which is not real. Including clinical psychologists, what they are saying is completely utter nonsense, which they knowingly or unknowingly are propagating, putting it out to the audience. That creates a confusion for audience, even bigger confusion than a narcissist create for a person. Because clinical psychologists, you need to understand that these psychologists, whoever who have certification, whoever that society accept that they are psychologists, they know something better. They are bullshit. They are number one bullshit. Especially psychologists, especially the branch of psychology which is been told that it is science. Psychology is it's a science. It is not a science. Psychology is not a science. Psychology is it's a bunch of bullshit theories. People learn these theories. Why the psychology is even a branch? Why the psychology even exists? Because some jobless people need jobs. That's why psychology exists. So they create jobs from that. They create business from that. For business purposes, for job purposes, for money purposes. They make others idiots with their this thing. Because if some person comes, if he has a problem, he talks to a normal person, he can't understand. But you go to a certified clinical psychologist, practicing psychologist, and say this thing. His words is more important because he's a psychologist. He's qualified for that. People are thinking he studied that, so he's qualified for that. Psychology is not a study for the mind. You cannot study mind from a psychologist's point of view, because psychology, human mind is beyond psychology. Human mind and human capacity is beyond psychology. Psychology is just a science that's kept for jobless people. So that's the thing. And if he says everybody believes, this guy who's saying is a psychologist, he's a qualified person, but he's doing it for his business purposes. That's the point anyway. We can stop that there. But when this clinical psychologist explains narcissism as like different narcissists, overt narcissist, covert narcissist, malignant narcissist, grandiose narcissist, spiritual narcissist, there are different words. I don't know who creates these words. This is mainly an American creation actually. This is Americans are batshit crazy in creating taglines, creating titles, creating names for this thing, certain things. Before that, I mean, like now people talk about narcissists and all these toxic people. It has always been existed in this world. Narcissists and even greater toxic people than narcissists have lived in this planet, gone by. But recently they created a word, narcissism, and that is a big word. So you cannot measure a narcissist from the word narcissist, because narcissist is a big thing. Narcissist is something greater than any clinical psychologist can ever explain. There are narcissists, there are people who showing narcissistic tendencies. There are people who they call as codependent, empathetic people, empaths, and all these people exist. Empaths are people who can connect with other people emotionally. Empaths have high emotional intelligence. They know, they can understand what a person is going through, his pain, his sufferings, or his happiness. So an empath is acting like a sponge to absorb another's pain and amplify another's happiness. Empaths like to do that. Empaths are such kind of people. Narcissistic people are exact opposite. They amplify a person's pain and bring down a person's happiness. That is a narcissist. A narcissist is knowingly and unknowingly doing that thing. Mainly they know, because they get a high from putting a person down, minimizing a person's happiness, success, or whatever, and amplifying their pain. They like to see that a person's pain. They like to see a person in pain. So again, narcissism you cannot measure with a psychologist advice or whatever. It's completely nonsense. And a narcissist can easily mask a psychologist's judgment, because narcissists really know intentions and agendas of every people. A narcissist first study the intention of a person, what this person wants. When he or she goes to a psychologist, that rarely happens. Narcissist doesn't go to these people. Somebody have to take them to these people, but still they know, they can understand what this guy wants, this psychologist wants. He wants money and he wants a certain thing. So he will fulfill, narcissist will fulfill that thing. And the person who brings this narcissist to the psychologist, he is the biggest stupid. He doesn't understand what this psychologist wants. He obviously wants money. He obviously wants his name. He obviously wants to run his business. So narcissists understand that narcissists can hold hands with them. This person is asking for help from psychologist, the poor person or an empath. He will not get help because he is putting all his trust on this particular psychologist, because he believes that this man is a qualified person, this man or woman is a qualified person, can bring a solution for my problem. He cannot bring a solution for your problem. He or she is not living to solve your problem. He or she is living to solve their problem. That narcissists understand. So you cannot measure narcissism from that angle. That is one fact. Another fact, you will not get a narcissist, you will not understand a narcissist if you look a narcissist from a psychology perspective. Narcissism is something different. And if you look from that psychology angle, you will see a lot of narcissists that are not narcissist, but they are portraying narcissistic traits. Why? Because maybe they are traumatized. They are traumatized. That's why they are doing that. Or they are ignorant because they have mingled with all these narcissists. Some people, I'm very sorry to say this, and I support those people who have born and brought up among narcissists, in a narcissistic family or narcissistic relationship. Life of those people are very very difficult, because they have to suffer this thing from their childhood. So that people gain narcissistic traits, but they are not fully narcissist, but they know narcissistic traits. If you look those people from the psychology perspective, you will judge them as a narcissist, but though they are not narcissist, and the real narcissist is something different. So in identifying NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, psychology is not a good tool to identify that. You need to have a real life experience with people to understand what is narcissist, what is narcissism, what is NPD, who is a real narcissist, who is showing narcissistic traits. All these things you will understand. This psychology, in basically this American, especially these American YouTubers, they are funny and hilarious to the maximum, because they are good at titling all this nonsense. That is just business purpose. If you look things through that angle, you will not understand narcissist, and you will lose good relations, friends, or very close personal relationships in this bullshit advices. That is not true. That's it. What to say? Maybe I will make a part 2 or 3 or whatever it is, because this is a big thing. So I will not bore you anyway. Have a good day.